Hi everyone, it's Alice, and today we are here to do the first part of my bookshelf tour. I've been wanting to do this for a while because I know these can be really fun to watch, and I think the last time I did a bookshelf tour it was in 2018. So it's been a while and my shelves have changed a lot, and I also reorganized my shelves a few months ago, so now it's kind of like easier to show you. And I am gonna split this into several parts, so I'm gonna go sort of by genre so you can just watch the parts that you're interested in. This first part is going to be my dark academia shelf, which technically that isn't a genre, it's more of a vibe, but I have a lot of those kinds of books on the same shelf, so for the purposes of this, we're just gonna call it a genre. And then I'm gonna show you my mystery and horror books, because I feel like all of this sort of goes together. We're gonna start with my dark academia-ish shelf. Here is where I've gathered a lot of my books that sort of fall into this subgenre. I have more, but here I've put the ones that all follow the same sort of color scheme, so they all have like dark colors, and this shelf is very like aesthetically driven, and it's kind of chaotic on purpose. There are also some trinkets and stuff on the shelf, and it's where my bird lamp Marvin lives, who's my favorite guy, and you should all say hello to him because we don't want to be rude. We can start by taking a look at this stack right here. At the top here I just have some tarot cards. Then we have this book which I haven't read yet, but of course I have to show you my edition of The Secret History. This is one of my many editions, but this is the edition that I actually read every time I reread this book. It's kind of grubby, but I honestly kind of like it that way, and it's one of the few books that I have annotated in my life. It's the only book where I feel like that really added something to it, and I think I did it on my 4th reread or something, but yeah. Every time I reread this book, this is the edition that I reread. The Historian is a book that I'm super excited to read. Everyone tells me I'm gonna love this book, and that it sort of fits into dark academia, but I'm pretty sure it has vampires in it, which is exciting. The thing that scares me about this is the length, but I think I'm gonna love it. Then we have this book, which is on my TBR. The Likeness by Tana French is an excellent mystery dark academia. These three I haven't read, but Vita Nostra is one of the craziest books I've ever read. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to everyone, but if you like weird books, you might like this. Over here we have this anthology that I just got actually in these hallowed halls. This is a dark academia anthology, and I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, but I thought it looked interesting. It has foil, which is beautiful. We have this, which I also just got, which is about a crazy school. And then we have a book that I read very recently. This is Catabasis, or Catabasis, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And I have this beautiful hardback edition. I know not everyone likes this book, but I really enjoyed it. I actually kind of loved it. It has this under the dust jacket. It has end papers, and yeah, it is like not for everyone. It's kind of weird, but I really liked it. Under that, we have this book by Seanan McGuire. I don't actually know if this fits into this genre really, but it's here. We have this, which has a beautiful autumnal cover. I haven't read this yet, but I'm really excited to. We have If We Were Villains, which is another sort of classic in the dark academia genre. And then we have these books, which I haven't read. I have read The Maidens. I enjoyed it. It's not the worst book I've ever read. It's not the best. We have The Book of Night, which, again, I don't know if it really fits on the shelf, but yeah. Controversially, I actually really like this book. I don't know how to defend me liking that book because it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's not the best. But I did actually really enjoy it. And then we have In My Dreams I Hold the Knife, which is another mystery. On the shelf underneath that, I'm just gonna move some of this stuff out of the way. We have the two books that are currently out in the Alex Stern series. The first one being Ninth House, which I have in this beautiful hardback edition, and this has an excellent map actually that I want to show you. This book is set at Yale, and I just think this map is really gorgeous. And this is one of my favorite books ever. I know it's too dark for some people, but I absolutely love this book. I really need to reread it. And then Hell Bent is the sequel. I also have this hardback edition of The Secret History, and this has like a yellow spine. This is the 30th anniversary edition. It's obviously just the same book, but it's a beautiful edition. I think I have 3 different editions of The Secret History, and you've already seen 2 of them. The other one is white, so it's on a different shelf, but this is a very beautiful edition. An Academy for Liars, I haven't read yet. Blood Over Bright Haven, I have read. It was really good. It's an excellent standalone fantasy. I have just read this one, and then these are new. I've read A Study in Drowning, and then this is kind of random that it's on the shelf actually, but I want to show it to you because it's beautiful. It probably doesn't belong on this shelf, but I just felt like the vibes were right. This is an illustrated guide to the Victorian language of flowers, and this is beautifully illustrated. So each flower in here, you get to read a little bit about it and like the origin of it, and then it has an illustration and what you compare it with. And this is just a beautiful book to flip through, and this artist is just excellent. Like, she makes so many beautiful illustrations. And I actually do have another one of these books which is about birds, which I think I'm gonna put here as well. Next to that stack we have my edition of Lord of the Flies, which doesn't really fit on this shelf either, but the color fits. Then we have Babel or Babel by R.F. Kuang. I really enjoyed this book. I didn't love it the first time I read it, but I actually want to reread it because I think on a reread I would love it even more. But it's a really great dark academia book. Then we have this book, which I keep contemplating if I'm going to get rid of or if I'm actually going to try. I still haven't decided. And then these 2 books are these bigger, like, collections. It's kind of hard to show this whole book, but this is the Collected Stories and Poems by Edgar Allan Poe, and I've had this book for maybe like 20 years or something. I've had it for ages. Believe it or not, I've actually read this whole thing because when I was a teenager, I got obsessed with Edgar Allan Poe, and I thought that it really spoke to my soul, and so I've read all of these actually, and they have these creepy illustrations, and I really should reread all of these stories. This is actually one of my favorites, The Telltale Heart, and yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna get rid of this book because I have a lot of good memories of reading all of these stories. This other big book I have here is actually totally new. I just got this. This is Academia by William Morgan, and it's all about the Gothic architecture of colleges in the United States, which I just thought sounded interesting because I'm actually quite interested in architecture and I like looking at these kinds of pictures, and I'm interested in the history of these schools that I like reading books that are sort of set in places like this. So this is just a beautiful thing to flip through. I kind of forgot about this, but I do also have these Dan Brown books here. This is like the background of where I usually film, and they're just there. And I'm not going to take them out because it's too much hassle, but they are my Robert Langdon series. Moving on, we're going to take a look at my horror books. This angle is kind of awkward because it's like at the top, but I have horror books here and here. It's not the biggest collection because I don't read the most horror, but I do have some. At the top here, I have these books by T. Kingfisher. This is What Moves at Night and What Feasts... No. I always get these titles confused. What Moves the Dead and What Feasts at Night. These are in the same novella series that I really enjoy. I really need to get the 3rd book. This is a little horror novella that I really enjoy. This is You Should Have Left by Daniel Kellman. Not everyone likes this book, but I really like it. This book has kind of like an interesting spine because it's actual spine. This is Necrology and looks like an interesting horror read. We have My Darling Dreadful Thing. I think this is a vampire book. We have more T. Kingfisher. And then we have this one, which is one of my favorite horror books, actually. I got really, really spooked by this, but it's excellent. And I think the sequel or prequel or something is out now, and I really need to get it. The Reformatory is another great one. This is kind of a mix between supernatural horror and real life horror. It's really good. I haven't read this one, but this is also good. Whether this is like full-on horror. I don't know. It's probably more of a mystery, but it's really good. And this one also is a really cool horror book. This is a Norwegian horror book. It's a classic, and in English it's called The Lake of the Dead, and it's a very interesting one. Under that we have this stack. We have Graveyard Shift by Emily Rio. I enjoyed this one but didn't love it. Earthlings, one of the most disturbing books I've ever read. Really enjoyed this one. Really need to read this one, but I'm scared of the size. And then we have 2 Grady Hendrix books. And then I guess these ones are also kind of like horror, Bunny and Catherine House, but they're also dark academia, actually, so I couldn't fit them on the shelf over there, and they didn't fit like the color scheme, so they are living here. Then we have my mystery shelves. I have like 2.5 shelves of mysteries, but I do have more mysteries elsewhere as well. Like if there's historical fiction mysteries and they fit on that shelf, they're there. But for the most part, these are most of my mystery novels. Starting on the left here, we have some books in the same series, which I really like. We have Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone and Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. I really enjoyed both of these. They're kind of like tongue-in-cheek and they break the fourth wall, and they're very, very entertaining. We have some Alex Michaelides. This that I haven't read, Madam by Phoebe Wynne, which is also kind of like dark academia. This isn't for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. Then we have this one, which is one of my favorite books. This is The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This is crazy, but it's so good. So if you have the brain capacity for it, I would really recommend this one. Then we have these books by Janice Hallett. I have some Janice Hallett further down as well, but these I have in the same editions, so they're all living together. I've read both of these, but I haven't read this one yet, but I'm really excited to. I have this book, which I'm really excited to read. This is A Morbid Taste for Bones by Ellis Peters. This is about a monk who solves crimes, which sounds very intriguing to me. Of course, I also have some Stephen King. I haven't read this or The Shining, but I've read Carrie and Misery. Then we have some unread ones here. These are like summer mysteries, some Ruth Ware, some cozy mysteries. These books by Elizabeth Peters could technically go in the adventure category as well, because these are like mystery adventures. I really enjoyed the series. It's set in like the early 19th century and it's all about solving mysteries. And in this first one, there is a mummy running around, which is kind of terrifying. I also have The Truly Devious, the first 2 books. I've only read the first one, and to be honest, I was a little bit annoyed with it, but I need to find out what happened, so I'm gonna read the second one. On the next shelf, we have my Richard Osman books. These are the books in the Thursday Murder Club series, and this is another one of his series. I need to fit the 5th one on here at some point, which is gonna cause a problem, but I love these books. Then we have The God of the Woods. This is one of my favorite mysteries that I've ever read. It's so good. It's set at a summer camp, and I really recommend this one. I think everyone should read it. It's so, so good. We have another Stuart Turton, The Devil in the Dark Water. Really enjoyed this one. Haven't read this one. Haven't read this one. And then this is another cozy mystery series. The first one is The Widows of Malabar Hill. I really enjoyed this series, but I haven't read the 4th one yet. I do feel like they are a little bit repetitive, so I don't know if I'm going to continue, but I really like these ones. We have another Ruth Ware up here, but the rest of these books are all books in Norwegian, actually, and they're sort of like Nordic noir. This is one that I got from my father not too long ago, and then these are like in series. I think my favorite series out of all of these is this one. I can't remember from the top of my head what this is called in English, but there is an English translation, and this series is so good. The only thing is, if you don't like reading about unlikable characters, you're gonna hate these because the main character is terrible, but he's also very, very interesting, and there's like a mystery in each of these books, but then there's an overarching thing going on, and yeah, it's so good. When I got to the final page of this one, I actually like gasped. For this series by Lars Kepler and this series by Camilla Grebe, I've only read the first books, but I want to continue on. On the last shelf, there's only this part of the shelf that's mysteries, and then over here is like poetry and some other stuff. And this is a little bit messy because this part is hidden by the doors when they're closed. So this is kind of just a mishmash of all kinds of things. At the top here, we have this, which is like a cozy mystery that I'm really looking forward to. We also have this, which has a beautiful spine. This is The Agency for Scandal, which I think is going to be a lot of fun to read. A lot of people have told me that this is excellent, so I'm very excited to read it. This book by C.J. Tudor I haven't read. Long Bright River is another book by Liz Moore, which, if you liked The God of the Woods, I would recommend this as well, because this one is also really good. If you like Liz Moore's writing style in that other book, you'll like this one as well. These Violent Delights by Micah Nemberiever is also kind of like dark academia. It's really, really good. Then we have some Jane Harper. These should really all be together, but whatever. The Lost Man is probably my favorite by this author. She's so good at creating atmosphere, so I think my favorite is this one, and maybe Force of Nature. If you like atmospheric, like, mysteries and sort of character-driven mysteries, I really recommend Jane Harper. We have another Janice Hallett here. This is like a bigger edition than the other ones that I have, so I had to put this here instead. I really enjoyed this one. My Sister the Serial Killer has one of my favorite covers ever. I think this is such an excellent, like, cover design. I really enjoyed this book. I should reread it, actually. Another cozy mystery, some more Jane Harper. These are in the same series. Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz, I really enjoyed. And then these two are kind of like books where you have to solve the mystery yourself. Strange Pictures is a translated book, and this has like illustrations where I think you have to put together like what is going on. And I'm excited to read this, but I'm also scared that I'm not gonna get it. But I do love this cover. Myrtle, you might have heard of. I feel like I've seen a lot of these books around, and these have like cases that you can solve, I guess. And I'm actually really excited to try this. I feel like I need to do it when I have a little bit more brain capacity, but I think it's gonna be fun. My dad actually got me this for Easter last year, I think, because Easter in Norway is like we love crime for Easter for some reason, and like murder mysteries, so maybe I'll do more of these next Easter. I'd love to know if those of you who love reading mystery novels also enjoy doing these kinds of things, though. I've never really tried before, but I think I'm gonna enjoy it. Alright, that was everything I had to show you today. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thank you very much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you soon. Bye!